This concert is not about bringing people to video games. It's not even about video games. It's about bringing people to music.
Well, this one was a lot bigger. We had a lot more music, a lot more different series, and a lot more different things that were coming on to the production.
We knew what happened the first time. Now we wanted to just work hard even more.
For this particular production, we incorporated a lot of different things and technologies that were new to the college, certainly new to the team.
This show cannot be done with a handful of people.
Do we have any shorties?
The amount of things that needs to be done, it's just impossible.
We're demanding for students to do more than any other project we ever worked, and it's part of the experience.
Certain place you have to make sure to make time, but I like the challenge though.
Whatever happens visually, like if there's a fight scene, it has to reflect musically as well.
You know, this melody has to be for the trombone, it has to be for the trumpet.
It must be more like trying to get everything perfect.
We spent one day repairing equipment before we even connected anything.
So another thing that was pretty challenging for me, picking some of the visuals.
I learned a lot of stuff, let me tell you. A lot more than I can get in one semester of schooling.
This show is a multimedia interactive show.
You're infatuated, just want to enjoy, you want to watch the show, you want to enjoy the show, but at the same time, you're like, I gotta make sure this comes out good.
There were times where it felt like the show was just not gonna happen.
I must say I was nerve-wracking. I wanted to like, oh my God.
The students have to learn how to work under pressure, even if they feel like they're getting burned.
when you're listening to this music, you're probably playing the game. So you're not only stimulated by what you're hearing, but what you're doing, because it's interactive. You're controlling a character, you're going through a story, you're maybe fighting enemies in a sense.
Unlike film scores, this takes you into a whole nother world.
So I grew up playing games. It like brought my family together, and we all used to do stuff like that and just kind of play games together. So the game's very personal. It brings me back to my childhood.
You listen to these songs, and you listen to this soundtrack growing up, and in all the video games and the shows. And so it's like in the back of your head, but once you see it in a big orchestra production like this, it's amazing.
My goal is to make people feel like they're inside the video game. And I think we can achieve it with this high level of multimedia that we have this year.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real or not?
When you transform these pieces from these video games for an orchestra, you get something that's a lot bigger than what anyone thought it could be. And so now you can put it alongside movie scores, and it's, you really can't compare the two. They're side by side. They're the same.
Underlying idea of the story is, yes, you have a protagonist that wants to catch all the Pokemon and be the ultimate master of Pokemon, but you see throughout that anime a relationship that builds between him and his Pokemon.
have this old school world of beautiful classical music played to something very technological. And it's a game changer. It's a game changer for the theatrical environment. It's a game changer for the orchestra environment. Every time you have a production of this caliber, there's no such thing as enough time.
There are a lot of people involved inside of something like this. A lot of people, a lot of equipment, and a lot of cables.
It was close to the time to do the show, and there were still lighting cues missing. So we decided to program as much as we could and manually override and do some lighting at the same time.
So those are some challenges too, but definitely there was a lot of brainstorming, and like we spent a lot of time in the theater being like, okay, this is what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go wide here.
You know, you have to be grateful for the opportunity that has been given to us. And I personally appreciate a lot having been able to help and put on this production, because for me it's since I was little, I always wanted to see video game or anime music played live, played as an orchestra.
Everybody has one goal, and to make it a great show, to make it better than how it was before. So one thing that we had fun, because while we were going through the process, and some days we went through the night, and some team members didn't sleep. But as we were going through the process, we were already discussing about what we're going to do in the next show.
It definitely was a lot of work going into it, and again, the final thing, I think we cut it to, I think, about 11 minutes, but it was originally like a lot longer, and we were like, okay, this is way too long, we have to cut it as much as we can. And even though Albert was actually concerned, he was like, hey, 11 minutes is really long, and I was like, Albert, I don't think we can cut any less. And so I showed it to Maestro Bade, and he was like, it's beautiful, we have to play it.
And when this concert is in preparation, emotions run high in just the preparation of it. And knowing that we won this big award, it just sets a tone throughout, not only this concert, believe it or not, it was the whole semester. We felt empowered, and we felt like we can achieve anything.